Blessings of the Almighty, distinguished religious leaders, dignitaries, guests, staff and students, namaste and good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the World Religion Summit 2025 here at Satyasai Grama. As we continue to learn, understand and celebrate unity in diversity through various faiths across the globe, in the first session today, we will learn more about Taoism, Shintoism and Confucianism. First, we have a video by Professor Lawrence Pang Eng Wang Wee representing Taoism and Confucianism. A distinguished academic, entrepreneur and thought leader from Hong Kong, Professor Wang Kee's work bridges the timeless wisdom of the East with modern dynamism of the West. He is the founding president of both the Society and the Academy of Chinese Wisdom and Management. He has served as adjunct professor at the Hong Kong Baptist University and the City University of Hong Kong. Beyond the spheres of business and academia, Professor Pang is a writer, lecturer, social entrepreneur, martial arts coach, musician, and international affairs commentator. Through his multifaceted career, he has sought to integrate Chinese and Western wisdom, applying ancient philosophical insights to contemporary management and social development. May we have the video, please?
Spiritual leaders, thinkers, ladies and gentlemen. With gratitude to Sadhguru, I'm honored to be invited to attend this meaningful World Religions Summit. Unfortunately, due to my prior commitment to speak at the World Education Frontier Conference to be held in China at the same time, I'm unable to come personally to meet you today. The One World, One Family is an admirable mission, and I believe we all share this ultimate objective together. I come from Hong Kong and China. I'm most happy to introduce you the wisdom of Chinese culture, which was based on 5,000 years of historical experiences. Some Westerners view China as a mysterious country due to lack of communication, misunderstanding, or distortion by the media. The Harvard professor Samuel Huntington, in his work, The Clash of Civilizations, described China as a civilization in the form of a nation. This is a powerful lens to view China more clearly. It suggests that China is fundamentally an ancient civilization expressed in the form of a modern nation state. This civilization's longevity stems from a deeply ingrained philosophical and religious system. At its core is the idea that civilization is the heritage of wisdom for survival based on the fundamental principle: humans are part of nature. Our survival and flourishing depend on understanding and alignment with the universe. As mentioned, the essence of Chinese wisdom and culture rests on 4 fundamental pillars. The first one is I Ching, the Book of Change. It's a framework for a changing universe. The second one is Confucianism, a guide for a harmonious society. The third one is Taoism, the power and the way of nature. The fourth is Buddhism, the nature of conditionality and emptiness. So, the dynamic principle basically is yin and yang. This symbol represents the fundamental dynamic duality of the universe. All things exist in relation to their opposite, and these opposites are complementary and independent. Yin meaning feminine, receptive, dark, yielding, moon, water. It is just a symbol indicating the negative side or the feminine side. On the other hand, yang emphasizes on masculine and also active, bright, assertive, sun, fire, the bright side. And the essence is, neither is superior. They are just two sides of a coin. They flow into one another, and the dot of one within the other shows that each contains the seed of its opposite. Harmony is found in the dynamic balance between them. And the core spirit of Taoism can be summarized in the following interconnected dimensions. Number one, the Tao follows nature. This is the foundation of Taoism thought. The Tao is the origin and underlying principle of all things in the universe, and its way of operating is called 自然, a state of spontaneity, non-compulsion, and non-interference. It emphasizes that all things have their own inherent nature and developmental patterns, and humans should follow this natural order rather than impose their own view. Humans follow earth, earth follows heaven, heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature. So, the second point is governance through non-action. We call it Wu Wei. Wu Wei does not mean doing nothing. Rather, it means not acting arbitrarily, not forcing outcomes, and not interfering contrary to the nature of things. It advocates acting in the simplest, most natural way to achieve the effect of doing nothing yet, leaving nothing undone. In governance, it urges rulers to minimize intervention, allowing people to transform, correct, enrich, and simplify themselves. The third concept is tranquility and minimal desires. Taoism holds that excessive desires and external distractions disturb inner peace and lead people away from the Tao. Thus, it advocates reducing greed and maintaining a clear, calm mind. Tranquility is the norm of the world. Only a serene mind can reflect truth. And the fourth concept is softness and non-contention. Taoism observes that soft and weak things, well, like water or infants, often possess great vitality, while rigid things are prone to break. It promotes the wisdom of overcoming hardness with softness and advancing by yielding and embracing humility and non-contention. Just like water that benefits all things without contending, one can achieve greatness through such an approach. For example, the martial art Tai Chi is based on this principle. The fifth concept is equality of things and carefree wandering, asserting that all beings are essentially equal and unified. Distinctions such as high and low, noble and humble, life and death are merely human biases. By transcending these dualities, one can reach the state where heaven and earth coexist with me, and all things unite with me, achieving absolute spiritual freedom, carefree wandering. And the sixth concept is return to simplicity and authenticity. Taoism critiques the alienation brought by civilization and advocates returning to humanity's natural, authentic state, shedding artificially and also affectionation to restore the innocence and simplicity of an infant. This represents a pursuit of the genuine essence of life. Well, in summary, the spirit of Taoism is fundamentally a philosophy that aligns with natural laws, respects the inherent nature of all things and seeks inner freedom and harmony. It is both a cosmic perspective and a practical wisdom for living, profoundly influencing Chinese thought, artistic aesthetics, and even health practices. Compared to Confucianism, active engagement with society, Taoism focuses more on the tranquility of individual life and spiritual transcendence. So, what are the core spirit and characteristics of Taoism? As China's indigenous religion, the core spirit and characteristics of Taoism are deeply rooted in Chinese cultural traditions, integrating philosophy, spiritual practices, and folk beliefs. Below are the main aspects of Taoist spirit and characteristics. The first one is the core spirit would be reverence for the Tao and valuing virtue. The Tao is the highest belief, regarded as the origin and law of the universe. And virtue, we call it De, is seen as the manifestation of the Tao, advocating alignment with nature and the accumulation of virtuous deeds to harmonize the Tao. The second point is naturalness and non-action. We call it Wu Wei. It does not mean inaction, but rather non-interference and non-forcefulness. Following natural laws, well, we say humans follow earth, earth follows heaven, heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature. It encourages reducing human intervention and returning to a state of simplicity. Emphasize on embrace simplicity, reduce selfishness, and also minimize desires. Another core concept is universal compassion and love. Taoism promotes inclusivity and the equality of all beings. We say heaven and earth coexist with me and all things unite with me. It practices compassion and benefiting the world, which underscores the consequences of good and evil and encourages the accumulation of merit. And then, more importantly, is valuing and cherishing life. Life is treasured and longevity is pursued. Human life is most precious. Spiritual practices are used to elevate one's state of being. It also emphasizes placed on nurturing life and achieving harmony between body and mind, advocating the idea that my life depends on myself, not on heaven, which highlighting proactive self-cultivation. Another main characteristic is to diverse pantheon. It integrates nature worship, ancestor worship, and the deification of heroes, resulting in a vast array of deities. It also emphasizes harmony between heaven and humanity, believing that human can communicate with deities through rituals and practices. And also at the same time, in order to keep health and also the other issues, we are talking about alchemy. This inner and outer alchemy. The inner alchemy is actually uses the body as a crucible to refine essence, energy, and spirit, aiming to transcend worldly attachments. And on the other hand, also have the outer alchemy, we call it Wai Dan, historically involving elixir making for immortality. Later, it shifted the focus to inner cultivation. It is also the origin of the Chinese chemistry. Now, all these are supported by talismans and also rituals to harmonize the energies of heaven, earth, and humanity and our inside. All these are actually trying to synergistic practices, incorporates Taoism philosophy, yin-yang, and five elements theory and traditional Chinese medicine. So blends with folk beliefs, forming practices closely tied to daily life. For example, feng shui and also festival rituals, all these are actually integrated together. And at the same time, Taoism is also talking about balance between engagement and transcendence. Well, it maintains traditions of reclusive cultivation. For example, Taoist monks or priests, they are retreating to mountains to really to self, practices. While all these advocating to benefiting society and helping others through public service. It also emphasizes the parallel structure of body and state, where personal cultivation aligns with social harmony, physical and mental balance. So what is the modern significance of Taoism? Well, its natural perspective inspires environmental conservation and echoes ecological balance. Health practices have become part of global wellness culture. Its inclusivity and emphasis on the value of life offer spiritual solace for modern individuals. So, as a summary, the spirit of Taoism centers on the Tao, or translated as the way. It integrating nature, morality, and life practices. It seeks to transcend life and death while maintaining practical concern for the world. Its characteristics lies in its adaptability to cultural contexts, forming a unique system of cultivation and social function that continues to profoundly influence thought, art, and lifestyles in Eastern Asia cultures today. Thank you.
Next, we have a video by Mr. Hidetoshi Tachibana representing Shintoism. Mr. Tachibana is the High Priest of Hidaka branch of the Izumo Grand Shrine. A former architect and landscape designer, he is currently serving as a Shinto Chief Priest Consultant on Divine Harmony and Spiritual Well-being. The Izumo Taisha Hidaka Shrine is one of Japan's most venerated and ancient Shinto sanctuaries. Mr. Tachibana serves as the Chief Priest and Representative Director overseeing 18 affiliated shrines under the jurisdiction of Kutosu Hyosu Shrine. For over 25 years, he has served in the Shinto priesthood, deeply engaged in regional festivals, life cycle ceremonies, prayer rituals, and community development rites. He has successfully led the relocation, reconstruction, amalgamation, and precinct improvement of several affiliated shrines with utmost care and precision. His mission is to revitalize local shrines and to promote a world of coexistence and mutual prosperity, encouraging each individual to live in harmony with their divine purpose. May we have Mr. Tachibana's video, please.
この都度は世界宗教サミットにご招待いただき誠にありがとうございます。私は日本国兵庫県豊岡市日高町にあります日高地区の神社の代表役員宮司出雲大社分霊社の長として務めさせていただいております立花秀俊と申します。このような機会を賜りましたこと、主催者の皆様に心より御礼申し上げます。本来であれば会場に伺い直接お話をさせていただくべきところではございますが、11月23日といいは神道では大事な新嘗祭というね、最重要な祭儀がございますため、主催者様のご配慮により今回は録画という形を取らせていただきました。私は神職を務めまして25年になります。その経験をもとに皆様に神道についてお話をさせていただきたいと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。我が国日本は縄文時代より16,500年ほど続く調和型の国です。長い歴史から培った自然と共生した高度な文明を築いて、人と自然と共生する平和な社会が14,000年ほど続いております。そうした社会では祭祀によってね、秩序が保たれて、交易も盛んで芸術的でメッセージ性のある世界最古の時があります。また食品や食べ物の栽培、漆の工芸品、高度な建築技術などがありました。その頃から培われてきた天地自然を司るね、神様の御心の間に間により良き生きる道がね、神道と言えます。そういった物事が人間の生き方や、振る舞い、何事にも魂を込める精神であるとか、街並みや社会的秩序と行動に息づいているんです。神様はいつも人にね、寄り添って見守ってくれる身近な親のような存在です。だから、また母親のね、子宮の中に、お腹の中に帰って改まって清まって、また属性に戻って生きることにもなるというね、考えがあります。そうして神様のご加護を得られてね、またそれ以外にも、日本人の生活感の中には落とした財布が戻ったり、犯罪も少ないし、女性や子供が一人で街を歩くこともできる。危機に遭えば秩序を保って、ね、役割分担をして助け合える。 そんな文化的な社会を保っています。神道を語るにあたって払いと儀礼の概念は欠かせません。その払いの根本は、人間はもともと清く汚れのない良き存在であって、生きる過程で罪汚れ、心の中ストレスが溜まって邪悪にもなるので、払い清めをして元気な善人になって再生するという意味です。また儀礼によって人と神、自然、人と人が和し、生かされていることに感謝し、新たな気持ちで生活していくのです。すめながむつかむろぎかむろみのみこともちて、やほよろずの神たちをかむつどえにつどえたが、かむあかりにあかりたまいて、あがすめみまのみこと、とよわしあらのみずほの国をやす国とたいらけくしろしめせ、神よさしやおよろずの神たちともにきこしめせとまおす。日本の信仰とインドとのつながりは昔から深くあります。インドの古代の格言、全世界は一つの家族であるということがありますが、神道では古来、神話の始まり、国の始まりですね、初代の神武天皇が残した格言があります。神々と天皇皇后のもと、人民が家族のような国家を作るという言われがあります。またインドでは多数の神それぞれの個性と役割があると言われ、神道では矢をよろずの神、あらゆるものや生き物に神さんが宿ると言われています。またインドの浄化の概念や内在する神聖に目覚めるという考えは、神道では払いの精神、神殿の御鏡拝にあたります。また非暴力は、神道では和の精神、私たちが一番よく知っている、オーンという言葉は、神道では 言霊と言われてまして、日本語で「あ」から「うん」まで54字があります。これが一字一字がね、神様や宇宙の形と言います。このように私たちは、違う形で信仰していますけれども、核となるのは同じということが分かります。戦術によれば800年周期で数年前から西洋中心の物質文明から東洋中心の精神文化の時代に移行しています。中でも日本の縄文時代から続く神道に基づく精神文化が世界的ブームになってきています。伝統からサブカルチャーに至るまでその価値が表現されています。さらに文化の源流である神社、神道にも注目が集まっています。西洋グローバリズムによって何百年も戦争やテロ、対立分断、環境や健康破壊、気候変動など人類は限界を迎えています。それらを解決し、自然や世界と調和した持続可能な社会国家の創造の必要性が語られる今、日本の精神文化が注目されて世界で学ばれつつあります。例えば教育システムや専門の研究施設作り、製造業などにも取り入れられて変化した国も出てきています。持続可能な世界を築くためにも、私たちが手を取り合って真に平和で調和した共存共栄の世界を築いていくことが必要だと思います。またぜひ日本にまで足を運んで和の精神、縄文の精神文化に触れてみてください。できたら私がいる豊岡まで来てくださったならありがたいです。嬉しいです。大歓迎です。
Now, representing Confucianism, once again we have a video by Professor Lawrence Pangeng Wanke. Besides Taoism, Professor Wanke is a scholar and devoted follower of Confucianism. May we have the video, please?
Distinguished delegates, spiritual leaders, thinkers, ladies and gentlemen, with gratitude to Sadhguru, I'm honored to be invited to attend this meaningful World Religious Summit. Unfortunately, due to my prior commitment, I'm unable to come personally to meet you today. Today, let me introduce Confucianism to you. Confucianism originated from the teachings of Confucius. From 551 BC to 479 BC. It focuses on social relationships forming a philosophical, ethical, and social system. It was further developed by his disciples and later scholars. Originally, it is not a religion in the strict sense because it does not emphasize on temples and worship rituals, but rather a philosophy of life, a moral code, and a system of political governance. Based on the wisdom of I Ching, the Book of Change, Confucianism translates this cosmic understanding into a social framework. Its goal is to create a harmonious society we call 大同. It means a peaceful, stable, and prosperous world. This is achieved not through law and force alone, but through the moral cultivation of the individual, from the ruler down to every citizen. This is in line with the One World, One Family mission. The core spirit of Confucian thought can be summarized into the following key aspects. The first one is 仁. It means benevolence, humanistic care, and moral consciousness. Benevolence means loving others. Confucianism regards 仁 as the highest moral principle, emphasizing love, compassion, care, and respect for others. As in saying, do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. It is actually an inner cultivation. Through self-reflection, one achieves moral perfection and extends benevolence from family to society. The second one is 礼. It means proprietary, social order, and behavioral norms. It also forms an hierarchical order. The rituals and institutions maintain ethical social relationships. We have 5 key social relationships as explained later. It emphasizing harmony and also stability. And also important is educational function. 礼 is not merely an external norm, but also a mean to internalize moral sensibility. And the third concept is 中庸. It means the doctrine of the mean, balance and harmony. Avoiding excess and deficiency, meaning the balance. Advocates for avoiding extremes and pursuing modernization and balance. The important point is to maintain harmony between humanity and nature, emphasizes the overall harmony between humans, nature, and also society. And the fourth area is rule by virtue and benevolent governance. It is actually a political ideal. Governing with virtue, the rulers should influence the people through moral virtue rather than relying solely on punishment or by force. And it's also important to focus on people-centered. And the thought is value the well-being of the people, as they are emphasizing on the people are the most important. The state comes next, and the ruler is the least important. It emphasizing the ruler's responsibility. And the fifth point is education and self-cultivation, self-actualization. Education without discrimination. It advocates for equal access to education, achieving personal development through learning and practice. You have to cultivate yourself, regulate the family, govern the state, and bring peace to the world. We have to, starting with self-cultivation, one progressively realize the social ideals of regulating the family, governing the state, and bringing peace to the world. And then, last but not the least point, distribution between righteousness and profit. It's very important to have this moral priority. Emphasizing on righteousness over profit, it is in conflict between profit and morality. So, the important thing is uphold moral principles. Now, these principles structure the 5 key social relationships. The first one is the ruler and the subject. That means the boss and the subordinate. This relationship should be just and benevolent, loyal and obedient. And the second relationship is the father and son. It should be loving and guiding, filial and respectful. And the third relationship is the husband and wife. It should be righteous and caring, supportive and attentive. The fourth one is brotherhood. It should be gentle and humble, not bullying. And the fifth is friendship. It should be faithful and trustworthy. Now, all these 5 important relationships, human relationships and social relationships, the root of this structure is xiao. It means filial piety, respect for parents and our ancestors. The ideal is the jinzi. It means the noble person, who is cultivated through study, reflection, and practice, and who acts with righteousness and integrity. As Confucianism focuses primarily on social issues, a question often arises. So, is Confucianism a religion? On one hand, it lacks a central church, a clergy, and is largely silent on the afterlife and deities. Its primary focus is on ethical relationships in this life. Yet, it operates within a sacred framework that gives it a profoundly spiritual dimension. First one, the concept of heaven, they called Tian. Tian is the moral cosmos, a sacred, impersonal order that confers legitimacy and represents the ultimate moral reality. The second one is ancestor veneration. This practice is a form of reverence and remembrance, connecting the living to their linkage, making the family the primary congregation. Another one is sacred ritual and ceremony is part of Li. Is the performance of Li in ceremonies is not merely aesthetic. It is a sacred act that upholds the cosmic and social order. And also important is the pursuit of self-transcendence. The goal is to become a jinzi, the nobleman, a state of perfect moral alignment. And the role of sacred texts, those teachings of Confucius, all recorded. The Confucian classics are not just philosophical works, they are revered texts studied for sage wisdom. In this framework, divinity is the moral cosmos, that is the heaven. Worship is expressed through ancestor veneration and ritual propriety. Congregation is the family and the state. Salvation is the attainment of sagehood and a well-ordered society. Thus, Confucianism transcends the simple binary of religion or philosophy. It is a holistic way of life that integrates the secular and the sacred. One interesting question also asked by some of my learned friends when I met during the World Cultural Festival 2025 held here last month. They asked me, why most of Chinese are atheists? Wouldn't it cause social disorder and lack of value and discipline? Well, like some other parts of the world, the early development of Chinese civilization had also gone through the stage of fear of natural power because nature is so powerful and mysterious. Also at the same time, they also gone through a lot of superstition, create gods and worship them. Their fundamental motivation was the consciousness of survival. Ever since the dawn of civilization, Chinese believed that everything was well planned by heaven. So, also the king's throne, the leader, were also appointed. Well, around 1046 BC, we had the Zhou dynasty. They overthrew the Shang dynasty. They questioned that if the throne was appointed by heaven, Tian or God, how could we overthrow it? Well, after observing that, they concluded that even though God had appointed you, if you do not dutifully serve your people and be responsible, you will be overthrown or fail. Thus, in order to build a harmonious society, what they need is a system of social ethics and morality that everybody should follow and eventually internalize. This is the basic of Confucius' teaching. Eventually, Confucianism becomes a heritage and moral standard for all generations. It is a yardstick to evaluate right and wrong, good or bad, of the ruler's performance and social relationships. Based on the above principles, a Confucius nobleman should enjoy freedom of independent thinking, pursue their own ideals, their values, life interests, and social tastes. They should also cultivate a strong sense of mission and an active spirit of engagement with the world and humanity. They are upright, honest, and strict in enforcing laws. In times of national crisis, they would step forward without hesitation, calmly facing the nation's calamities and even facing death. They firmly believe that everyone has a share of responsibility for the rise and fall of the nation. They have patriotism and love for their families. They are seen as a sacred duty, and governing the state and bring peace to the world is their ideal. They are the pillars of society. They are knowledgeable, observant, and possess unique foresight. They have a strong sense of social responsibility and a spirit of dedication. They must be strong and resolute, for his burden is heavy and his road is long. They also adhere firmly to righteousness and distinct personalities, look down upon rulers and refuse to yield to power, following their own conscience on what is right rather than the rulers. They stand firm between heaven and earth, concerned for the nation and its people, and press forward without hesitation when necessary, aiming to build peace and prosperity for future generations. Finally, the most important is to have the passion for love, benevolence, and concern for humanity. Well, as a conclusion, Confucian thought centers on Ren, constructs social order through Li, pursues balance with Zhongyong, the doctrine of the mean, and ultimately achieves the unity of personal cultivation and social harmony. Its spirit has not only influenced traditional Chinese society, but continue to hold profound significance in East Asian cultures to this day. By now, you would readily understand why our President Xi always emphasized on achieving a community of shared future for mankind, which is the same as one world, one family for love, peace, and prosperity for mankind. Thank you.
Our gratitude to Professor Lawrence and Mr. Tachibana for graciously sharing their wisdom with us. With this, we end session 4 and will quickly move on to session 5. In this session, keynote speakers from Zoroastrianism and Judaism will share their perspectives. A moderated panel discussion will be convened thereafter with representatives from both faiths sharing their thoughts. We have 3 keynote addresses. We will begin with video messages from Zoroastrian leaders. The first is Sri Kojesti P. Mistry, co-founder and trustee of Zoroastrian Studies, the Atravan Educational Trust and the World Alliance of Parsi Irani Zaratoshtis. With an honours degree in Oriental Studies from the University of Oxford, Mr. Kojesti has delivered over 1200 talks on Zoroastrianism over the past 4 decades in India and abroad at Zoroastrian associations and across universities including Mumbai, Harvard, Columbia, McGill, Jerusalem, Manchester, and London. May we have the video, please?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I've been invited to speak on the concept of humanity and one world, one family. And I represent the Zoroastrian tradition. Zoroastrianism is probably the oldest revealed religion in the world, dating back to about 3,500 years, 1500 BCE. It was brought into the world by a person called Spitaman Zarathustra, and he lived in what was then ancient Iran, present-day Tajikistan, northeast Afghanistan, those areas which are part of ancient Iran. The religion was a very important message that the religion brought, where we believe in the concept of humanity, but the concept of humanity based on action, on work. But it's a religion which believes in the importance of the generation of wealth, the purposeful generation of wealth based upon truth. And with that comes the idea that if you generate wealth, then you must learn to share it. You must learn to do charity. And so charity plays a very, very important part in the life of a Parsi Irani Zoroastrian, because this is a religion which was started in what was then ancient Iran. It enjoyed three mighty empires where Zoroastrians became, in that sense, world famous in the then known world. And our territory and empire spread from literally the Indus River in present-day Pakistan all the way to Egypt, right across Central Asia. So we enjoyed a huge sort of area or territory where Zoroastrians lived and ruled. But interestingly, Zoroastrianism has always been the religion of a community. Now, what is so important and interesting in Zoroastrianism is that because we're encouraged to generate the wealth, to generate wealth, we have to be educated. To be educated, you have to therefore go to school, study what you enjoy studying in, etc. And as a result of that, education brings about progress, education brings about a better quality of humanity, and therefore the community, no more than 100,000 all over the world, because we do not convert. It's a community that is known internationally for the act of giving, because we see the demon of want as something that we have to continuously fight. And therefore, small as the Parsi community may be, in India we've had a wonderful sort of interaction with all the communities that live here. 1,000 years ago, Parsi migrants came to India, and because of that, the Hindu king Jadavrana gave permission for us to live in India. There have been trade links between ancient Iran and India going back to BC times. So the community has always been small but well-knit, and India has been wonderfully tolerant, and the secularity of India is quite unique and special. It allowed the Parsis to prosper, it allowed our people to live here freely, practice our religion, because we believe in live and let live. So we follow our religion, whereas the other communities in India follow their religion. And so I see India as one of the most beautiful countries where secularity and pluralism is a very, very important concept. Now, because our mission in life is to basically promote knowledge, basically promote the concept of truth, here is a religion which believes in the supremacy of our Master, the Lord of Wisdom. So if you like, our Supreme God has a specific attribute that of wisdom. We don't just believe in God in a blanket sense. We believe in God as its key attribute being wisdom. And with wisdom comes omniscience. In other words, God knows everything, past, present, and future. Clearly, God has no force that has created it, and therefore God has no beginning and therefore no end. And with the teachings that we follow, we are brought into the sphere of co-helpers of God. They're divinities. So we believe that with wisdom, you have to have the good mind. With the good mind, you have to uphold the highest truth. And when wisdom, the good mind, and truth come together, we're then in a position to generate conviction and strength. And with conviction and strength, we're then able to, in a sense, unfold with devotion and piety. And when strength and piety work together, you're going to do your job well. And if you do your job well, you're going to be remembered for it. So in our tradition, we believe that a human being, every Zoroastrian, is responsible for every single thought, word, and deed that one generates in one's one life or physical existence that we have. We believe in this one life in which we must try and do as much charity and as much goodness as we possibly can. And therefore, the most important prayer of ours is the Ahanavar or the Yatha Ahuveryo prayer. And in this prayer, what do we basically ask God to help us with? We basically recognize in this prayer that we desire both the physical and the spiritual worlds. How do we desire it? Using truth and our good mind. And when the truth and good mind work together, we're then in a position to generate deeds of life, good deeds of life, not for ourselves, but for God, for our Master. And when we generate good deeds for our Master, clearly this increases the sovereignty of God in the world, in the physical world. And because of the increase of sovereignty, we're then given, if you like, brownie points, where our soul, which is judged on the fourth morning after death, depending upon all the good words and good deeds it has generated as versus bad words and bad deeds, our soul either is drawn by the house of song and goes into the house of what is loosely known as heaven, or it falls into the abyss of hell, where it remains till the end of time. So in Zoroastrianism, we don't have the concept of eternal damnation, but the most important concept that we have is upholding the truth, upholding justice, upholding everything that is valuable to being a good human being. So in Zoroastrianism, we have the concept of both cosmic as well as physical dualism, the concept of good and evil. And we believe that our task as human beings is to continuously promote the world of good by generating wealth, but importantly then sharing it. Sharing wealth is a very, very important quality. So the point I'm making to you that Zoroastrian charity is not just for our own people, it's for humanity. It's for the betterment of the world. It's for the betterment of thinking of this world as one family, as a family of human beings linked to a cosmic force that we recognize as our master, namely the Lord of Wisdom. So knowledge, therefore, plays a very important role in our lives, and therefore it shouldn't surprise you that because we live in the age of intelligence, artificial intelligence, which is now a common word that everybody has learned to remember, Zoroastrianism has always promoted the importance of education. Education in terms of helping poor people to educate themselves so that they get better jobs. If they get better jobs, they can live better, they have better family lives, they have better health. It's a kind of domino effect, as it were. And therefore, for us, charity is, if you like, our hallmark. And our soul actually is judged on the basis of what charity one does. interestingly, we're also very, very sensitive towards the concept of ecology. Ecology, which has now become a buzzword all over the world. Zoroastrianism recognizes the seven creations that were fashioned by Ahura Mazda, the Lord of Wisdom. So we believe in the world of skies, the waters, the earth, the plant world, the animal world, human beings as God's finest creation, and fire. We see fire as the Son of God, linked to Ahura Mazda, linked to wisdom. Fire in terms of not just as an icon, but fire in terms of that which gives energy to the other six creations. So we are very, very creation concept. We, for example, celebrate the birthday of the waters. We celebrate the birthday of fire. We celebrate the birthday of the earth. We celebrate the birthday of all the creations. And today, human beings call that ecology. We've been practicing ecology through our rituals and through our traditions literally for thousands of years. So here is a religion which has a message for the world. The message for the world, as I see it, is that we must try and generate harmony and happiness wherever we are and wherever we live. Harmony and happiness are central to the Zoroastrian structure that I'm talking to you about. The most important concept in our religion is Ushta. Ushta in a Western means happiness. And therefore, our task as Zoroastrians is not just to be happy within ourselves, but we have to promote happiness not amongst our fellow human beings, but amongst all the creations. And therefore, we believe in showing sensitive towards the skies, towards the waters, towards the earth, towards the plant world, animal world, human beings, and fire. So from that point of view, here is a religion, the oldest in the world, in fact, where we have one prophet, Zarathustra. Here's a prophet who basically lived at a time when there were no schools and colleges. Here's a prophet that, in a sense, indirectly was able to influence the Greek civilization and Greek culture upon which Western civilization is now based. So here's a religion which basically promotes that the purpose of human beings is to be happy within. And if one is happy within, then one is able to share that happiness around us. And sharing, by definition, means what today modern human beings call charity, the act of giving. Giving probably till the point it even hurts. So the point I'm making to is, here is a small community that was given sanctuary in Mother India, but it has given so much back to Mother India that none other than the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, said, never have so few given so much. And when we talk of giving, giving is not just in terms of time, giving is in terms of helping fellow human beings to become better. And how does one become better? Better education, better health, better family life, etc. So here's a religion where spirituality is pretty much tied up with the act of giving and the act of giving to make others happy. So I'd like to end by basically sharing with you a beautiful prayer that we have, 12 words of the Ashem Vahu prayer, which is a prayer that, in a sense, encourages us and recognizes us and makes us realize how important it is to be happy within. And if one is happy within, if one is in harmony with oneself, then one can be in harmony with the world. Then one can really experience what it means to be part of one human family. And so my message really is the Ashem Vahu prayer, which I will chant to you in a language which is a sister language to Sanskrit. It's in the Avestan language, which is the language of our scriptures. I'm going to chant it to you the way I was taught in Iran. And it's very, very important for you all to listen to the sound harmonics of this prayer as versus its message. And its message is very simple. Follow the path of truth, the highest truth, because that gives one internal happiness. And if one has internal happiness, you're then able to externalize it and share it in the world and make the world one happy family. And the chant goes as follows. Hashem vohu vahishte asti ushta asti ushta ahamoy hyat ashai vahishtai Schnautraurai Mazdau, Schnautraurai Mazdau, Schnautraurai Mazdau. Satisfaction unto our Master. Yazdan Panabad. May God be the sole one. Atajamyat Yatafrinami. May it be so as I bless. Ushta Vispeshem, Usta Vishpaisem, Ushta Vispeshem. Happiness to all, physically, psychologically, and spiritually.
We are grateful to Sri Kojeste P. Mistry for sending us this video message. The second speaker is Sri Noshir Dadrawala, the Program Director at the Center for Advancement of Philanthropy and one of the sector's foremost consultants on CSR and legal compliance for nonprofits. Drawing on 3 decades of experience, Sri Noshir Dadrawala's primary role at the center involves simplifying the confusing and complex maze of ever-changing laws. He is the author of several resource books and serves on the boards of both international and Indian organizations, including the International Center of Not-for-Profit Law and the Bombay Community Public Trust. May we have the video, please?
Greetings. I would like to start by appreciating the effort that has been put in by Sri Madhusudan Sai to convene and organize this World Religious Summit on an excellent theme, which is about humanity. It's a subject of great relevance today, I feel, because I think we have forgotten the real essence of what humanity really means. I will speak from the Zoroastrian perspective, where almost 3,600 years ago, a man who was a thinker, his name was Ashosmitama Zarathustra, he gave us the mantra of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Just practicing this simple human value that in every endeavor in life, have good thoughts first, good thoughts towards your fellow human beings. In other words, be charitable in your thoughts. Good words, not fake words, words that are charitable, If you can't do something good, at least don't hurt anybody with that. Don't hurt people's feelings. Human beings are sensitive beings. And of course, continue with good deeds. I think whenever we think in terms of charity, we think in terms of giving money. You do not have to be rich in order to give. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give to humanity today is our own time, our talent, our skills. Look at illiteracy, for example. I mean, you don't have to have lots of money to set up a school. You could be teaching children who probably cannot afford for, let's say, private tuitions. You may have that skill, so you could be giving of your talent. There is the problem of the aging community who are lonely. You could give of your time to spend time with them. So I think for everything, you need to start thinking charitably and act charitably. That wherever you see a problem, you have to decide how best I can give of myself. Money is important, but money is not the only thing you can give. You can give of your intellect, you can give of your knowledge, you can give of your talent, of your skill, and you can give of your own self. So I think each one of us has to be a thought leader in this regard. We all need to, we can't say, oh, somebody has to take a start, government should do it. Government has its limitations. Companies have their limitation. The philanthropists have their limitations. How about you? Each one of us is a leader. Start with yourself. What can you do? It's like, in the words of Kennedy, ask not what the country does for you, ask what you can do for the country. And the you is you, the average individual. Give yourself this thought: I have done enough for myself, I've done enough for my family. What more can I do for humanity? What more can I do for society? Where humanity goes, I think it must start with charitable thoughts, continue with charitable words, and charitable deeds. If you leave everything to thought, that's not enough. It must culminate into words, and ultimately, thought and word must ultimately culminate into deed. If the deed is not there, then thoughts and words remain where they are. So you will see that down history, even if you look at the history of Zoroastrianism, the founder of the Achaemenid dynasty, Cyrus the Great, more than 500 BC, was the man who gives this world the first Charter of Human Rights. The first Bill of Human Rights is given by Cyrus the Great, who was a Zoroastrian. If you look at all the other Achaemenid kings that followed, they were all focused on humanity. In fact, Persepolis, which is the city of the Persians that Darius the Great, the successor of Cyrus, built, was probably the world's first United Nations, where the 22 nations over which Darius the Great ruled came together in peace. It was not a fortress, it was a citadel of peace. And this is the essence and the message of Zarathustra, that as human beings, we have a contribution to make. If you see any form of evil, and evil can be in the form of poverty, illiteracy, illness, you have to address it. Because all these things are like darkness. They do not have an existence of its own. You have to bring your own light to it, and the darkness vanishes. There's more I could have said, but in the interest of time, I would like to conclude. I would also like to say that I truly apologize for not being able to come to this August function in person due to other prior commitments. But I hope this message that I have tried to convey, which is not my message, this is the message that Zarathustra conveyed to this world a long, long time back, almost 3,600 years ago. That message is timeless and for all times to come. It is timeless. So with that, thank you very much. God bless.
We are grateful to Sri Noshir Dadrawala for sending us the video message. Our next speaker is Rabbi Yoel Glick, representing Judaism. Rabbi Yoel Glick, the founder and director of the Art Elyon, Jerusalem, is an international Jewish teacher and mystic. He teaches worldwide through courses, retreats, and writings that draw on Jewish mysticism, Hasidic thought, and universal spiritual principles. Rabbi Yoel Glick has taught in the United States, Canada, Israel, Asia, and Europe to audiences of all Jewish denominations, as well as in a variety of interfaith settings. Rabbi Yoel Glick.
With gratitude to Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai and His Holiness Bhagavan Sacha Bhai Baba, to all the esteemed and noble spiritual teachers and leaders of the world religions that are here today, to all my spiritual brothers and sisters, students, boys and girls. I'm here today to talk to you about Judaism, the Jewish people, and its story, as well as what it teaches us about the path to establishing one world and one humanity. Abraham was the first Jew. He contemplated the nature of reality and the world he lived in. Out of his contemplations, he had an experience of the oneness of all of existence. This experience changed the whole way he saw himself and the world around him. The consciousness of oneness infused everything that he did. It filled him with the energy of love and a desire to serve the divine in every human being. It is said that his tent was open on all four sides as an expression of the depth of his service. He was always looking and waiting for people to arrive for him to serve. It also made him look for the divine, for goodness, even in places of darkness and evil. In fact, we read that his love and compassion was so great that he argued with God over the perverted cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, when God revealed to Abraham that he planned to destroy them. He turned to the Almighty, challenging his decision, says, if there are 50 righteous people, will you kill the innocent with the guilty? Will you save the city? And God replied, I'll save the city. How about if there's 40 righteous people? God agreed again. 30, 20, 10. God said, yes, if there's 10 righteous people, I'll save the city. Such was Abraham's love for every human being and desire for God to show mercy and compassion. And this way he showed himself also as really that human beings are partners in bringing God's love and compassion into the world. So Abraham not only talked the talk, he walked the walk. He lived and breathed the path of oneness. And if we want to create one world and one family, then that is what we need to do. And this is the first great teaching and perhaps the central idea of Judaism. We then move on to Jacob, Abraham's grandson. he was one of two twin brothers. Jacob was the younger brother by a minute or so, but he spent his whole youth wanting to find a way to steal the birthright from his elder brother and the family inheritance. And then we're told that when his father was old and his sight had dimmed, Jacob, together with his mother's help, deceived his father and received the firstborn's blessing instead of his brother Esau. And when Esau discovered what Jacob had done, he let out a great cry and swore that he would kill him. Jacob's mother, Rebekah, heard this vow and ran to tell Jacob, "Quick, flee for your life, run to my brother in Padam Aram, which is several days' journey, and he will take care of you." So suddenly, from the exaltation of having received the firstborn blessing, he's leaving everything he's known, leaving his family, and going off into the unknown. He leaves home, wanders in the desert, and as night falls, it says, he lighted upon a place, and then he lay down and fell asleep. And it's told that in his sleep he had a vision, and he saw a ladder stretching from the earth up into the heavens, with angels going up and down the rungs of the ladder, and the Almighty God looking down from above. And Jacob woke up in the morning and he said, "God is in this place and I did not know it. This is the house of God and the gateway to heaven." And the rabbis tell us that when he first arrives at this spot to lie down, it says the Hebrew is vayivga b'makom, which means he touched the place. And the mystical teaching of Judaism, Kabbalah, tells us it means he touched that place at the core of his being where God dwells. And he was astonished to realize he didn't have to go to some temple. He didn't have to climb a mountain. God is inside each of us. We need to seek God within us and not without. And this is the great second teaching of Judaism. We continue on with the life of Jacob, which takes us again to the next level of his journey and his transformation. After spending 21 years in Padam Aram, where he met his uncle Lavan, his mother's brother, and worked for 7 years in order to marry Rachel, his daughter that he loved, he discovered that his uncle Lavan tricks him and gives his sister Leah, her sister Leah, the eldest, in marriage to him instead of to Rachel. And then he has to work another 7 years in order to be able to marry Rachel, and then he works 7 years in order to have a flock of sheep of his own so that he could have a life. So after these 21 years of being deceived, because he kept changing wages every other time, he's finally leaving and on his way home. And as he's heading back home, he gets a message from messengers that have been sent to him that tell him that his brother Esau is coming. In fact, he's marching towards him with 400 armed men. And it's clear that Esau has revenge on his mind and not reconciliation. Jacob has no army. He's afraid for his life and the life of his family, so he divides the family in two. He puts half the family on one side of the Vani. It's a big empty desert space. And on the other side he puts the other. And then he goes back to the empty camp to take a few things he'd forgotten. As he's walking in the middle of the night across this empty Vani, a man appears to confront him. And we're told that man was really an angel. And he begins to wrestle with Jacob all through the night. And Jacob is wrestling with himself, with his life, with all the deceptions that he did, how he stole the birthright from his brother, how he deceived his father, and then all the deceptions that he received as karma in return. And also there was terrible competition and strife between his two wives and between their children. And he has to struggle with all the suffering and sorrow he's created and find a way to go forward. And it says, all through the night he felt the presence of the angel overshadowing him and powerful energies pouring into him, into his chakras. And the experience was so incredible, so potent, that at dawn he has been victorious. He's been given a new name by the angel. Instead of Jacob, he's now called Israel, which means one who has wrestled with God and with man and been victorious. But he's limping from the effect of this confrontation with himself, with the divine, and his destiny. And he calls the place Peniel, the face of God, because he has met God face to face. And the next day he goes to meet his brother with his armies. But it's not Jacob that Esau's meeting, it's Israel. And all of his chakras are flowing, his heart center is open wide, and love is pouring out. And his brother who came to kill him is suddenly filled with love for his brother, forgiveness, and he falls on his neck and they embrace. And this is the third great truth that the Jewish people learned, the transformative power of love. And they also took on the task in the name of Israel, those that wrestle with God, those that wrestle with their humanity and divine nature, those that seek to live a divine life and to bring the divine into the world. At the end of his life, Jacob and his family of 70 souls go down to Egypt to live on the land because there had been a famine in ancient Israel, which was called Canaan. And because they're strangers, as I spoke about the other day, they're taken into bondage and slavery for 400 years. And in the end of that time, a baby that shone with light when he was born, called Moses, was born to 2 slaves. And the Pharaoh, because he heard some prophecy there was going to be a great savior for the Jews, for the children of Israel, he said, you must kill all the firstborn males. But Moses was hidden, and he was put in a reed basket and set down the Nile River. And it arrived at the royal castle, and the daughter of the king, of the Pharaoh, who did not have any children of her own, found the basket and secretly took Moses into the palace and made him her son, and he grew up as a prince in Egypt. And yet, something of his own life reality, identity, still was with him. And one day when he's a young man, he goes out into the fields and he sees the Jewish slaves working, and a Egyptian taskmaster is beating an old man. And he goes and takes away the whip and kills the Egyptian and buries him in the sand, because he can't bear to see the suffering. And the next day he goes out again and he sees two Jewish men fighting. And he says, "Stop beating your brother." He says, "What? Why? Are you going to tell the Egyptians that you're going to kill us like you killed the Egyptian?" So he suddenly realizes his secret is out, and he's afraid. He's filled with fear. For one moment he had courage, and now he's filled with fear. Fear of losing his status as a prince, maybe losing his life. So he flees from Egypt, goes running off in the desert, and comes to the land of Midian, where he meets the Midianite priest Jethro, marries one of his daughters, and becomes a shepherd. And he spends many years wandering in the solitude of the desert, contemplating the nature of reality, until one day he sees a sight that doesn't make any sense to him. There's a bush up on the mountain, and it was a holy mountain, he knew that. But a bush that's burning but is not consumed. That's, of course, that's our eternal nature. And he goes up, he climbs up to the mountain, and he stands on, sees the bush, and hears a voice that says, "Moses, take off your shoes from your feet because you're standing on holy ground." It says, "I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, your fathers, the God of the people of Israel, and I have heard the cries of your people, and you are going to help me redeem them from Egypt, from the Pharaoh." And Moses says, "Excuse me, you've got the wrong person. I don't know how to do that kind of thing." And God says, "No, I'll be with you." And he says, "As a sign that I'm with you, I'll give you two miracles you can perform. First one is he puts his hand inside his sleeve, comes out, and it's all leprous, as if he has leprosy. And then he puts it back again, and it's all cured. And then he takes his shepherd's staff and throws it on the ground and becomes a snake. And then he picks it up, becomes a staff again. And off he goes now to no longer fearful because he's been in God's presence and knows he's been given a divine mission. Now he's fearless, and he goes back to face Pharaoh and the whole of the Egyptian army single-handedly with his brother Aaron. And he comes and tells them, "Let my people go, free my people." He says, "Who's this God?" First he doesn't want to do it, and then you have a whole long story. If I go through the whole of it, we'll be here the rest of the day. But they go through God, through the instrument of Moses, performs 10 plagues, turning the water of the Nile into blood, and ending with the destruction of the firstborn of every house in Egypt, from the lowest slave to the Pharaoh's son. And then Pharaoh finally agrees to let them leave. And they march off into the desert. And Moses takes them from there to the holy mountain. And when they get to the holy mountain, now we're 2 million people standing there. And they have a collective revelation of the presence of God, who appears as a consuming fire and smoke at the top of the mountain, over the whole mountain, a great cloud. And they hear a voice speaking to them. And he gives them first the 10 Commandments, and then the rest of our sacred scriptures are taught to Moses. And God tells Moses, "Tell the people, I want you to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." And the commentators tell us that the reason they went through those 400 years of suffering so they would know what it means to suffer. They would know all the difficulties and struggles of people in this physical plane of consciousness, and then they would have deep compassion for other human beings. And it's that which would enable them to be this kingdom of priests, to be divine instruments to bring God's love and compassion in the world. Or as the Dalai Lama once said, the Jewish people are a nation of bodhisattvas, a life of serving humanity. And near the end of his life, Moses enshrined the teaching of Abraham and Jacob in a prayer called the Shema prayer. And the first line of the prayer is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is your God. The Lord is our God. The Lord is one." And that's embodying the teaching of Abraham, of the oneness of existence at the heart of our inner life and our outer life. And it says, "Hear, O Israel." So the word Shema means to hear, but it also means to receive it in your heart, to understand in the depth of your being. And all those that are part of Israel, all those who are working to bring God's presence and light and compassion and love into the world, are being the people that are being spoken to. It says, and God is your very own. God is right there beside you through your triumphs, through your failures, through your joys and your sorrows. God's there, right there beside you. You are never alone. And then it says, but even though God on one hand is immanent, God is transcendent. God is one in the absolute, in the place of pure being, pure consciousness, where all is one. And then the second line of the Shema tells us how we get to that place. It says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all of your might. Then to love God with all our heart is really to open our heart more and more, to expand the circle of its embrace until it embraces all of humanity and all of creation, like the all-embracing one of the compassionate one, Him herself. And then with all your souls to give your very life, dedicate your very life to bringing God's compassion and love in the world, to bringing and serving all humanity as one. And there's another way of understanding this, that the word that they use for soul in Hebrew is nephesh, which means your intellect. Great philosopher Moses Maimonides, in his book, The Guide to the Perplexed, goes into great detail. So second thing is to love God with all your mind, which means on one hand to use all the powers of your mind to serve God, to serve humanity, to expand your consciousness until it merges into the infinite consciousness of the universal mind of God. And then to love God with all your strength, with all your might, is to give all of the energy and effort you can, everything you possess, and dedicate it to a life of service and love. And in a way, it's even more than talking about your physical strength, it's talking about the power of your will. You give your own little will over to God and strive to do the divine will until the two become one. And this is the path that will take you to that place of oneness, where it becomes the natural place where you live. And this path also teaches us, this prayer is teaching us about oneness on one other level. There's a passage in the Talmud that says at the end of time there'll be a circle dance of all the tzaddikim, of all the realized souls. And God, so to speak, will be standing in the middle. And everyone will point to say, this is the God I've been hoping for. we'll realize we've all been thinking, this, my God, this God, that God, but it's the same one God that all of us are going towards. And that is the other oneness, that every aspect of God, God is all the gods we're going towards, and God is beyond them all and encompasses them all. So this is the prayer of the Shema, the central prayer of Judaism. And even though we're talking about the oneness of God, it doesn't mean that everybody has to follow the same path. As one great Hasidic master said, lived 250 years ago in Poland, he was called the Seer of Lublin. He said, a God that can only be served in one way, what kind of a God would that be? So in Judaism, there's a multitude of ways and paths to serve God. We're always studying our scriptures, finding new insights and interpretations. We also strive to find new understanding that illuminates the present conditions of humanity, the Jewish people, of the whole world, our planet, and that gives it new meaning and tells us the path forward. And we believe that the more paths there are, the more ways of understanding the divine teaching of all the religions, then the greater is the revelation of the divine glory in the world. As a wonderful Hasidic master, Reb Gedalia Koenig, who was the leader of the Breslov Hasidic community in Jerusalem in the 1970s, used this wonderful metaphor. All of Israel, and by extension all of humanity, is like a beautiful tree. Though everything comes from the same root and has one central trunk, each branch, each twig, each leaf, and flowers different one from the other. Though they all may look similar from a distance, but each has its own distinct form and size and fragrance. And it's this individual character and unique qualities that give the whole tree its own special beauty and vibrancy. There's the many different religions and paths to God and divine service that illuminate the world like a vast collection of stars that shine into the darkness of this material reality. And the great gift and blessing of our time is that we have the opportunity to learn and share from each other, to gain new insights and understanding of our own religions, and to appreciate and honor the beauty and wisdom of all the other world traditions, as we have been doing these last few days. In my own journey, I've received a great deal my encounter with other religions, especially Hinduism, Christianity, Sikhism, Sufism, Islam, all the other religions, Buddhism. I just found that truth is one. It's just expressed in different ways to suit the culture and temperament of different people and nations. As the great 19th century Hindu saint Sri Ramakrishna teaches, a mother is feeding her children fish, but she can't gain the same preparation to all of them. One has a weak stomach, so that she could only have fish soup without any spices. Another loves the spices, likes fried fish with a lot of curry. Another one likes steamed fish or fish stew. They all have different kinds of ways that they want the fish prepared, and the mother knows they will like and eat and receive the nutrition. But it's the same fish that they're all eating. And we're all eating the food that God has given us because He knows what each of us needs. But it's all the same divine nourishment in the form that will enable us to grow and fulfill our life in this world. I'd like to just end with, once again, with the priestly blessing that I said last time. First blessing is, may God bless you and protect you. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Second blessing. Okay, God. That's the first, and we're finishing with two more. Second blessing is may God shine his face upon you, be gracious unto you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yechuneka. May God turn his face towards you and give you peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Yoel Glick. We are really grateful to you for being here and gracing this occasion. We now invite Professor Sri Kantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to extend a token of gratitude and appreciation to Rabbi Yoel Glick. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We will now have a panel discussion by the representatives of Zoroastrianism and Judaism. The session will be moderated by the prominent Persian, Urdu, and Islamic scholar, Dr. Hafizur Rahman. We now invite the moderator and the panelists to take their seats. Dr. Hafizur Rahman, Marazban Nariman Zaiwala, Rabbi Adir Glick, and Mr. Elias Sidzidniski. We have Brother Pavan Dadlani, who will be translating Sidziniski's, Rabbi Elias Sidziniski's talk. The moderator, Dr. Hafizur Rahman, stands as a prominent Persian, Urdu, and Islamic scholar, blending the traditional wisdom with modern perspective. Embracing Sufi teachings fervently, he has spent the last 2 decades advocating for interfaith harmony, pluralistic values, and composite culture on both national and international platforms. As a formal faculty member at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, he imparts his extensive knowledge to future generations. Dr. Rahman is the author of Rumi, the Guide and Philosopher, and has edited What is the Reality of Ghazwa-e-Hind. A prolific writer and speaker, he has contributed numerous articles to leading publications on socially relevant themes, including religious tolerance and unity. Dr. Rahman's global engagement includes participation in seminars and conferences worldwide, including sessions at UNESCO headquarters in Paris and conferences in Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and Kyrgyzstan. He's a staunch advocate for reform in madrasa education, emphasizing the importance of scientific and modern skills. As the founder-president of the Sufi Peace Foundation, New Delhi, he continues to champion peace, national integrity, and social harmony for the progress of both India and its citizens. He is currently serving as a convener of the Khusro Foundation, New Delhi, a think tank working to promote syncretic culture and national harmony through literature. Representing Zoroastrianism, we have Marasban Nariman Zaiwala, a Behedin Pashban practicing priest performing religious rituals and a Zoroastrian Parsi community faith leader speaker, Delhi. He has been associated with the Delhi Parsi Anjuman for the last 43 years. Representing Judaism, we have Rabbi Adir Glick. Rabbi Adir Glick began his tenure at the Temple Har Zion in August 2015. He was ordained in May 2015 by the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies of American Jewish University in Los Angeles. During ordination, he received the 2015 Jacob Pressman Award in Homiletics. Mr. Elias Sidzanitsky, he's an Orthodox Jew born in Argentina and living in Peru for the last 30 years. He's the Secretary General of Latin America and the Caribbean Council of Religious Leaders. And his talk will be translated to English by Pavan Dadlani. And over to the moderator, Dr. Hafizur Rahman.
Hello. A very good morning and adab salam to everyone. As we are participating in the centenary celebrations of Shri Sathya Sai Baba under the spiritual mentorship of our Sadguru, Shri Madhusudan Sai Ji, and the 100 programs of 100 days are continue for our last few months in different cities. Religious leaders, spiritual masters, academicians, and people are from different faith, different fields. Those are serving the humanity, are enlightening with their views in our programs. Every religion, the basic essence is one. Every religion leads us towards Almighty, towards one God, towards the God. And every religion talk about the human service. And here, there was a beautiful slogan, love all and serve all, which is the message of Shri Sathya Sai Baba and Sadhguru Ji. And now the theme is one world and one family, which is the unique, which have been initiated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India during the G20, and it has been globalized by Shri Sathya Sai under the spiritual leadership of Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai Ji. Now we are the one, may we are different in our colors, may we are different in our faith, may are different with our nationality, but the colors of blood is same, the soul is same, our need and desires are the same. So now we all are on same boat and we are the one family. And this is the biggest initiative, not on the year, but of the century, to unite the heart, to unite the world, to unite the humanity, because to serve the humanity, unity is necessary. Rumi beautifully explained 700 years back, Tu baraye wasl kardana madi, neh baraye fasl kardana madi. You have been sent to unite, not to divide. Also, the beautiful scripture of Sheikh Sadi, Bani Adam Azai Yak Digaran, have been scripted on the wall of United Nations. All sons of Adams are limbs of each other. If any calamity befall on any limbs, the other limbs cannot remain at rest. So this is the humanity. This session is Zoroastrianism and Judaism. As we all are aware that the center of Zoroastrianism was the Iran. After the Islamic Revolution, may people of Iran and Persian native speakers follow Islam as faith, but they are yet culturally or following Zoroastrianism. They start their new year with Nowruz. They follow the essence of Zoroastrianism, Mazda Yasna, Ahura Mazda, you can see. So you can find culturally Zoroastrianism, Iran. Another faith is Judaism. We know the smallest minority by faith are Jews, but they are contributing huge in academics, in trade, in business, in every field. Wherever you find, they are doing tremendous job in all around the world. And it's a part of Abrahamic religion, because Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all Abrahamic religion, and all believe in a book and a prophet. So they are so close with each other to follow the revealed and sharing the prophet and sharing the same essence of Abrahamic religion. Now we have main speaker, Mr. Kojeste Mystery, video message, co-founder Zoroastrianism Studies Foundation. So I would like to request to play video message, please.
We have just done here. Okay, the panelists. So we have had panel discussion. नहीं वो सब हो गया सर. Okay. अभी ये सब लोग जो है ना सर, उसका आप ये करना है.
Okay. Sorry, the main speaker speeches have been done. Now we have the panel discussion, and we have two distinguished panelists among us. Rabbi Adir Gilik, Temple Harzeon Dat Elion, and Mr. Elias Zinistiniki, Regional Secretary General, Religions for Peace, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So now I would like to start with Rabbi Adir Gilik. So kindly speak few words about the one world, one family, how Judaism connect with the theme according to Judaism scriptures.
Thank you. Shalom, everyone. Esteemed Assembly, Sri Madhusudan Sai. Well, we have a common concept in Judaism and others who share our scriptures that we are all descended from Adam and Eve, an idea that we all share a similar provenance. And from that primordial story, that all human beings come from the same spiritual source, one of the messages that I would like to talk about is that it tells us how powerful humanity is, how powerful humanity is. We often think that humanity is weak and the human beings are fallible. But one of the messages of Judaism is that we're made in the image of God, meaning we have the power within us to bring divinity into the world. And in fact, in Judaism, human beings are intermediaries, in a sense, between God and this very world. We're charged with uplifting the world. And in our original story of Adam and Eve, a story where the two primordial beings, Adam and Eve, who lived in harmony with God, spoke to God as we would write to each other right now, spoke to the animals around them, and were unaware of their physical bodies. But then they experienced a fall in consciousness, and suddenly they realized we're naked. And God said, "Who told you you are naked?" And at that moment, it says in the Torah that God gave them garments of skin, of leather to wear. And the word for leather in Hebrew sounds the same as the word for light, or. So our sages teach that they exchanged bodies of light for bodies of skin. So what it teaches us is that all human beings are in this dichotomy. We have bodies of skin, but we are aspiring, we are working towards having bodies of light and bringing the power of that light to bear in our world. What a tremendous power that is. You can see what happens here through the grace of Sadhguruji when you bring that light into this very world. So I'd just like to mention a beautiful teaching. Today is Shabbat. It's our weekly day of rest, a day where we're supposed to plunge into peace and to embody peace and to rest and to pray and to meditate, to not work. We teach that there's a world where everything is Shabbat. There is a state of consciousness where everything is a rest, everything is peace. The Talmud calls it a world where everything is Shabbat. So on Shabbat, we bring some of that world into our world here. And then there's a teaching in the Talmud that says that if all Jewish people did 2 Shabbats in a row, then the whole world would come to Shabbat. That's the power of our spiritual aspiration. That we have the power through our spiritual practice to transform this very world. So maybe I end with this message and a beautiful prophecy from Isaiah, the great Jewish biblical prophet, who received a vision from God that one day the world would come to peace. And the way he described that peace is that the lion would lie down with the lamb, and the babe would play with vipers, the human baby, and other images, denoting to us that in that world, the law of the jungle will be overturned and there'll only be peace. And we are the agents for bringing that peace. We are the agents for making that world come to be. We're the ones who bring that. And how do we bring that? By living in our bodies of light. How do we bring that? By maintaining our awareness of our higher nature. And that's our work as a humanity, to bring the power of the divine image into our world and with each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Religion. Thank you so much, Rabbi Adir Gilek. And religion unite, not divide. Unity is life and differences are death. Now we have Marazan Nariman Zaiwala, Bedin Pashan, Zoroastrian Parsi community faith leader, speaker from New Delhi. As you know, the Ahura Mazda, Mazdiyasna, a very ancient, old philosophy of Parsis and Zoroastrianism, which yet talk about the sacrifice, patience, peace, and unity. I would like to ask you that how the education of Zoroastrianism relate with the theme of one world and one family.
Yeah. Good morning to all. Now, I will request the moderator to start my session with some prayers. Huh? If you don't mind, if you can stand if you want, otherwise it's okay. Baname yazad bakshayande bakshayasga mervan rajistiyav chistiyav madadatyau ashonyav denyav vangoyav mazdayasni din viras vadaros ke khuda bar khalak farishta de in hast ke jarthos avar de hast Dine dine jarthos, dine auramasta, dade jarthos tasmitman, yathau verio, yatharathus asachit acha, wangayos dasda maningos, shautren nam, engios mazdai, shautrem cha, aurai ayem, daregopyo, dadat vastarim, yathau verio, yatharathus asachit acha, Wangayos, Dasda Maningos, Shautrinam, Ingyos Mazdai, Shautrim Cha, Aurai, Ayem, Darigopyo, Dadat Vastarim, Ashembo, Vaistem Asti, Usta Asti, Usta Amai, Yat Asai, Vaista Ashem. Amen. You can sit down. I will translate you what I have spoken in this, our script, Persian script. May Aura Mazda be pleased. In the name of God, the beneficent, the forgiver, the kind. May there be praise for the name of Aura Mazda, who has always existed, exists, and will always exist. One of his name is God, the beneficent spirit, the most spiritual among the spiritual ones. One of his name is Aura Mazda, the omniscient Lord. Is the Lord, great, mighty, wise, creator, nourisher, protector, supporter, righteous, forgiver, holy dispenser of all powerful good justice. Now, I will just, how I am introduced here, I will just give you some sort of brief introduction. How we met Sri Guru Madhusudan Sai Ji and all of us. It was 17 November, Monday morning. Mr. A.K. Merchant, my friend, and myself were traveling from Ludhiana after a session of Humanity, Love and Kindness session. We had over there presided, and we were returning there. While returning on the way, A.K. Merchant received a call from Sri Vinayak Desai, who is our organizer, about his confirmation, and my friend AKM asked Sri Vinayak, having me as a Zoroastrian faith from Delhi, and he shared my number to Sri Vinayak. A few minutes later, a sweet voice from Vinayak Desai called me and inviting for World Religious Summit 2025, that is One World, One Family at Bangalore. And my sweet answer was yes, and shared details to Sri Vinayak Desai. It was a determination to have His Holiness Darshan Sri Guru Madhusudan Ji Sai Ji to meet and greet him in the auspicious summit 2025, which is today. I am here. Now, respected Sri Guru Madhusudan Sai Grama management staff, teachers, office bearers, volunteers, and students of His Holy Highness Satya Sai. My respect to religious faith dignitaries from all walks of state and countries. it is one who achieves Bharat Ratna Nobel Awards is not by recommendation, but it is a Ratna by himself, is a Ratna by himself, honored by Creator God. So we are all like that. And he himself is the highest rewarded in the service of mankind, one world, one family. Now I can translate in Hindi also. कोई सम्मान करे या नहीं, लेकिन जो अपने आप में एक भगवान का ऊंचा रत्न है, उसको और कोई उसको एक डिवाइन वर्ड से रत्न अपने आप में ऊंचा है, और एक वर्ल्ड एक फैमिली का एक वर्ड एक फैमिली का वो है गुरु प्राप्त है. Now coming to your question, this concept of one world, one family. The concept of one world, one family is not a specific traditional doctrine with Zoroastrianism in the same explicit terms as it is some other traditional like Hinduism, Vasudeva Kutumba. However, the core tenets of Zoroastrianism promote universal ethical principle and a sense of shared humanity. Universal divine origin, Zoroastrian believe in one universal, transcendent, supreme deity, Ahura Mazda, who created all of humanity. Humans are considered instinctively good creation of Ahura Mazda, which implies a shared origin in inherent worth. Shared responsibility. The religion emphasizes activity and ethical participation in life through threefold parts. That is good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Humata, Hukta, Huvarasta we pray for. All individuals have an active role to play in the cosmic battle of good versus evil and in making the world a better place. This collective responsibility for the welfare of the planet and its inhabitants aligns with the broader themes of global responsibility, inheritance in the one world, one family idea. Equality and dignity. It's a must in all the faiths. Zoroastrianism upholds the fundamental equality of all individuals, recognizing merit through one's action rather than wealth or status, promoting a sense of shared dignity and respect for all people. Spreading happiness, a key aspect of practicing Zoroastrian life, is to bring happiness into the world and to be generous to the poor and hospitable to strangers. This naturally fosters empathy and compassion for all humans, regardless of nationality or ethnicity. Harmony with nature. The faith advocates for the protection and veneration of nature and its element, considering water, earth, fire, and air as sacred creation of Ahura Mazda. This emphasizes an ecological responsibility, extend the idea of family to include the entire natural world. While traditional Zoroastrian communities have historically maintained strong ethnic identities and practice endogamy, marriage within the community, which some interpretation linked to preserving the ancestral family line. The fundamental ethical teachings of the religion encourage the universal perspective of shared purpose and a commitment to righteousness and harmony for the benefit of all creation. Modern interpretation of Zoroastrianism offer focus on this universal principle as applicable to all humanity. Now, Hamazor, we say, Hamazor I will just pray a few words of Hamazor. Hamazor Bad Vihane Haftakeswar Zaminiman Awa Ishan Ishane Awa Imam Hamazor Hama Be'ayat Hama Yaret. May all of us, the meaning is, may all of us be in cooperation with the righteous men of the 7 regions, that is the whole world. May be one with them, and may they be one with us. May we all benefit and help one another. The word Hamazor means united in spiritual energy. We are united with the spiritual energies. Together, and Zor means strength, vigor. Zor does not just mean physical strength. It means the inner strength which is essential for being assertive and affirmative. Hamazor is a beautiful concept, but it is very difficult to put into practice because of our individual wishes, desires, and beliefs, and sense of personal rights and wrongs. To put the idea of Hamazor into practice, we first need to understand this concept. It works at 3 levels. The first level is the personal level. It expects us to have empathy with fellow men so that we can create a synergy when working. In order to develop empathy, it is essential to have understanding and tolerance toward fellow men. The second level of Hamazor is cosmic in character. We are connected with all creation through a matrix, as all creations are created by one power and from one substance. Hence, it is necessary to have Hamazor with natural creation like animals and plants, and also with seemingly inanimate creations like the earth, mountains, and planets. The third level of Hamazor is celestial in nature. From an invisible but bionic perspective, we belong to a force field which is connected with invisible, benevolent spiritual entities, which we refer to as God, Yazat, and Ratu, Farvasis, etc. Progress is possible only with unity. Hence, if we want that our community may progress and our religion may flourish, it is imperative that we work together while performing the rituals. The Zoroastrian priests participate in a special handshake while reciting the words Hama Zor Hama Ashobad. May we be united in spiritual energy. May we all be righteous in our action. Then after the ritual, they used to exchange this special handshake also with others who are present over here. This priestly tradition is also had a parallel among the Zoroastrian laity, which was practiced till not very long ago. A similar handshake was exchanged among friends and family to share their camaraderie and energy and effect a bonding by this handshake while uttering the word Hamazor. This gesture helped at 2 levels. One was symbolic, that is, it is encouraged the idea of being in harmony and brotherhood with all. And at another level, it was an actual sharing of one inner strength and energy with others. This tradition was specially practiced as the festive occasion like the Nowruz, New Year Day. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Zaiwala, for your enlightening message in the light of Zoroastrianism. An Indian can understand better that how similarities we have with the Zoroastrianism and Hinduism. Our New Year starts with Navratra, 9 nights. We celebrate it for over 9 days. And New Year of Zoroastrianism start with Nowruz, 9 days. They celebrate with 7 green things and 7S. And being in Persian literature, I found many similarities with our Indian Sanathana or Indian Hindu philosophy and Zoroastrian philosophy also. Zoroastrianism also talk about the safety of environment and also talk about the patience, also talk about the universal justice, justice for humanity, also talk about the selfless service to the humanity. And same we can find in our Hindu scriptures, because the theme is many thousand years old, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. In one world and one family, it is not the new. Our Indian gurus, Sufis and saints were following it for 1,000 years, many years. So India, both Indian culture, religion and tradition, and Zoroastrianism, especially Iranian culture and tradition, are so close with each other in practice and in ideology and in their spirituality. So thank you so much for enlightening us.
One thing I want to, just one line to add for you. That is, we Zoroastrians are now only 55,000 in India. Minorities, minuscule minority community. And we doesn't take that title also as a minority. We believe in our own, and the contributions towards Indian is much more than what our numbers are. So that is one more Zoroastrianism principles.
Of course, you are right. As in India, we have the leading industrialist Tatas. They are Zoroastrianism, Parsis. And they are micro small community in India, but they are leading business, trade, industry, as well as the another smallest community in the world on international level is Jews. But they are leading everywhere, where they are in Europe, or they are in America, or they are in Asian countries, in many countries where they are contributing a lot. So now we have Mr. Elias Zintrik, Regional Secretary General, Religions for Peace, Latin America and the Caribbean. So have few words. His language is Spanish, so another gentleman will translate his voice. And we know, as we heard our first panelist about the Judaism, that they follow the education of Moses, Prophet Musa under the Abrahamic religion, and they are highly developed community. Those are contributing in education and in trade and in business, in commerce worldwide. So as we are one, but the many hearts are divided. There are conflict at several places in the world. How we can go with the theme of one world and one family according to scripture? The big task, how we unite the people, how we unite the heart in the light of one world, one family, and the scripture of our fellow religions. So please speak about.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I'm very happy here to be with my friend and to have a conversation today in Shabbat. The commentators of the Bible, they used to ask themselves very many times, How should the Bible start?
Todos sabemos que la historia del pueblo judío
We all know that the story of the Jewish people
comienza con Abraham, como mencionó el rabino Glick más temprano,
it starts with Abraham, as it was spoken earlier,
o también con la salida de Egipto, que fue el hecho fundador del pueblo judío.
or the exit of Egypt, which was the foundation of the Jewish people.
Sin embargo, la Biblia comienza contándonos la historia de Adán y Jabá.
However,
La Biblia comienza
the Bible
la
starts
historia de Adán y Jabá.
and the Bible starts with the story of Adam and Hava.
Y eso responde justamente a la pregunta que nos hacemos aquí.
And that actually answers the question that was posed here.
Es una respuesta muy sencilla, muy simple.
It's actually a very simple answer.
Pero la respuesta es que Dios nos quiso enseñar que somos una sola familia.
But the actual answer is that, God wanted us to be just one family.
Y que no quiso que luego venga alguien y diga, yo soy mejor que tú.
And that it should not be that somebody would come and say, I am better than you.
Porque finalmente todos somos de una misma familia.
Because finally we are all one world, one family.
Judíos y no judíos.
Jewish or not Jewish.
Y eso también nos lleva a nosotros a pensar en la responsabilidad conjunta que tenemos.
And that makes us think about the responsibility that we all have together.
Como una sola familia,
Like one family.
tenemos también una responsabilidad
We, ha-
respecto a una creación dada por Dios para toda la humanidad.
we have the responsibility of one creation that God has given us to all humanity.
Y esta creación, como sabemos, está en un gran, ha estado siempre en peligro y ahora creo que vemos que en un peligro mayor que nunca antes.
And this creation has been in danger, as we all know, and in fact now it's even in more danger than ever before.
El cambio climático, por ejemplo, es
The
un
climate
ejemplo
change is an example
de los grandes peligros que estamos enfrentando.
of the greatest dangers that we are experiencing,
Y por eso hay una idea judía muy importante
which is why there is a Jewish principle, idea, very, very important principle, which is
que tenemos que juntos reparar el mundo, lo que en hebreo llamamos el tikkun olam.
which is that we all jointly should repair together, which is called
Tikkun olam.
Tikkun Olam.
Y este tema hoy en día enfrenta muchos desafíos.
And this topic actually faces too many challenges.
Hoy escuchamos de gobernantes muy importantes en el mundo
Today we hear of many governing people around the world
que dicen, primero mi país.
that they would say, first is my country.
Y entonces y eso muchas veces nos hace pensar en el peligro de quebrar nuestra humanidad compartida, nuestra sola familia humana.
And that makes us realize how our one family, global family, is being broken down.
Y yo vengo aquí
And I'm coming here
con suspicacia de conocer esta enorme obra.
with the eagerness to learn more about this mission.
Y lo que estoy aprendiendo es ver cómo desde aquí, del sur global, hay una respuesta a esta pregunta acerca de nuestra humanidad compartida.
And that, yeah, you have to break it down for me.
Sorry. Y veo que desde aquí, desde el sur global,
And from here, from the global south,
tenemos una respuesta
we have an answer to this question of
de nuestra humanidad compartida.
about our shared humanity.
Uno de los últimos versículos de la Torá, los primeros 5 libros de la Biblia,
One of the first five books from the
uno de los últimos versículos
one of the last verses of the Torah, of the first five books of the of the Bible,
nos enseña
teaches us
una expresión que es fundamental para el judaísmo, pero
It teaches us some of the fundamental principles in Judaism, but is also very much present here in this mission. And the expression is Baharta Bahai, which means you have chosen life. And this is the principle that we all share, those who are all gathered over here. When this mission of One World, One Family teaches us about the importance of nutrition, healthcare, and education, that it teaches us that we are choosing life. And this selection of choosing life needs to come with only good things. And we all know that every word in the Torah has a reason. Then we would ask ourselves, if we're choosing life, why are we choosing good things? Isn't that choosing life, isn't that good enough? And here we see in real life demonstration of this mission that we should also choose the good things. Because otherwise we will stay only in good phrases. If the good words, the good phrases are not together with the good actions, it's not enough. And finally, like the moderator said, in terms of remembering the history of our different religions, in India, for thousands of years, there have been a Jewish community until the Portuguese people did not come to India. India did not have anti-Semitism. While Judaism experienced anti-Semitism in Muslim countries or in other countries, here in India, there was never anti-Semitism. There was never anti-Semitism until the Portuguese came. And that's why this country has always shown, India has been always showing an inter-religious harmony. And that is it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elias. You talk about the, especially the very good point that no one is superior on another, and no one is inferior on another. I remember the word of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, how he said in his last sermon on Khutbah Hajjatul Wada that all mankind is from Adam and Eve, and Adam was from dust, and Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over a black, nor a black over a white, except by piety and good action. So we all are human beings, and we all are equal, and we all are under the one theme of one world and one family. And I believe this initiative will enlighten the entire world because it has been started under the spiritual guidance and mentorship of His Holiness, our Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai Ji. Now I would like to request to say a few more words, Rabbi Adir Gilik, regarding how this initiative will impact the global community and the world to unite irrespective of faith, caste, creed, and colors. And especially, he also appreciated Mr. Ilyas, the outstanding work of Sri Satya Sai about the nutrition, how they are feeding the crores of students, completely free nutrition, completely free education, and completely free health cares in all the centers in different parts of the world, and in India, especially the kids' heart surgery. So this is the outstanding word. I think I can say that no organization doing such kind of huge work under one umbrella as Shri Sadguruji is doing under Shri Satya Sai. So please say a few words.
What is so impressive is that not only is everyone being fed physically, but also spiritually, and doing both at once is so very rare. So I think it starts here. It starts in this family and starts in the nucleus of this family, of building those relationships of love, of divine love, holding all of us together in that familial bond. And then when we really feel it, when we feel it in our hearts, so it's a living truth, then we can take it to the rest of the world. But it starts with the nucleus right here, and then it spreads. So how do we really feel it, and how do we spread it? It also relates to the previous question that you asked about conflicts in the world. And here we can come together and talk about love, but around the world we don't always see love, we see conflicts. I think it goes back to that central command in the Torah. The Torah has 5 books. In the middle of the Torah is the book of Leviticus. In the middle of the book of Leviticus is that commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. So how do we really love our neighbor as ourselves? And there's a story I wanted to share of a Hasidic story. The Hasidim were mystics of a few hundred years ago, great Jewish mystics. And one man comes to see his Rebbe, his guru, and he says, how could you love your neighbor as yourself when your neighbor is trying to hurt you? A very deep, profound question. And so he answers and he says, well, don't you know we're really one great big soul. All of us are one great big soul. So if there's one part of the soul that's not acting as it should, are you going to cut it off? Are you going to hurt it? If your own hand is making trouble, are you going to cut off your own hand? Of course not. And so the opposite of that is to bring others into our love. So I remember when my daughter was 2 or 3 years old, my daughter Shalva, and it was maybe our first long time of separation. She was in a different city, and I came to land at the airport, and I saw my daughter at the other end of the hallway of the baggage claim. And as she saw me, she started to run towards me. And as she ran towards me, I ran towards her, and I took her in my arms. And at that moment, I knew that her and I were one. And love isn't an emotion. Love is knowing that we are one with all other people. And so when we can encompass more and more people in that consciousness of love, more and more people, then it really will spread. And then it will become truth. And we'll realize that we're just one great big soul, all of us together in humanity. Not just a intellectual truth, but living truth in our own hearts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Rabbi Adir Gilik. And you beautifully explain it about how we can execute and implement the idea of one world and one family. It needs loves, because a true love is beyond everything. It's irrespective of caste, creed, gender, colors, and religion. Rumi said, love, be it real or metaphorical, ultimately lead human being to God. So just have love and compassion for each other. And in Sri Satya Sai literature, you can find it beautifully that do good, see good, and act good. Whenever Sri Sadguruji speak in our discourses or he write books, we cannot find that he is advocating for any particular religion or he is denouncing any culture or religion, because he is not talking about the religion. He is not promoting any religion, because his religion is religion of love. His religion is religion of service. His religion is religion of unity. His religion is religion of peace. So he is talking about the peace. He is talking about the selfless service. He is talking about the unity. He is talking about the humanity. So, and the basic essence of every religion to make us a good human being, with love, with compassion, and with service, with sacrifice. So this is the beauty of every faith and every religion. And the beauty of Sri Satya Sai Grama and our spiritual guide and mentor, Sadguruji, Sri Madhusudan Sai Ji, that he accept everyone and he influence everyone. He worked beyond the boundary of caste, creed, gender, race, nation, or religion. He is working for humanity. And a beautiful Urdu couplet is there. जिस के पत्ते पत्ते पर लिखा है कौमी एकता, उस शजर का एक दिन हर घर में साया जाएगा. यानी the tree on every leaf has written the word unity. It will spread to every house in the world one day. So the world is need more compassion, more love, more peace, more unity. And this is the beauty of Sadguruji. He never talk about the politics. He never talk about the caste and religion. He never talk about the races and your regionality or your nationality. He is talking about the humanity, love, and compassion, which is we are practicing. So thank you very much, one and all, for sparing your valuable time. And thank you so much, our all panelists of Judaism and Zoroastrianism. Those have spoken about the beauty of their respective faith, and they also spoke about how to strengthen the theme of one world and one family, and we will see a better tomorrow, a better dawn, a better future, and for our next generation will arise in the atmosphere of one world, one family, without fear, with love, love, and love. 700 years back, Master Rumi, Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, beautifully explained, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover, or living. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come, yet again come. Let's come together as one family, under one Creator, on one earth, towards one destiny, peace, peace, unity, and love. Thank you very much.
We thank our moderator and all our panelists for their valuable contributions to the discussion. We invite Professor Sri Kantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to extend a token of gratitude and appreciation. Rabbi Adir Glick. Marasban Nariman Zaiwala. Dr. Hafizur Rahman. Mr. Elias Sidzenitsky. And Brother Pavan Dadlani. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you once again. We'll have the final session of the World Religious Summit 2025, the sixth session on Sikhism and Islam. We'll take a lunch break, and after which we'll reconvene for this at 2:30 p.m.